Hi, and welcome to episode 18 of my vanilla playthrough of Factorio 1.0. My name is Icon, and today is an episode full of this and that's. I've completed the automation of the blue science packs in the last episode, and we have now access to a plenitude of new technologies along the road. And to celebrate that, I'm going to research things along the way today, and I'm going to fill up those little gaps that came up in my factory and in the episodes in between, like this engine facility which I'm trying to build here. We're going to research explosives next, because explosives are a topic that I just want to have. Explosives are awesome, because explosives make you get rid of the cliffs at some point, and that's just very, very desirable. Alright, there we go. So explosives are already researched. That's very, very quickly done here. So how do I want to proceed? I want to have steel next, so let's splitter it in. There's lots of commotion now on the main bus, and I actually appreciate it a lot. That gives me a good feeling about my factory. Gives me the feeling that things are moving forward. So we have to work like that. Okay. Using the red underground belts wherever I feel like it's beneficial to me. There we go. So that's that. Let's let them roll a little bit differently here. I'm going to split off the steel. And merge that stuff over here. Alright, so this is going to result in the same facility that I had on the science array, with producing 1 engine unit per second. So we got the explosives. Let's get right away to the cliff explosives, because that's where I want to be. So we have to bring up 10 explosives, an empty barrel, and 1 grenade for that. We're going to get there. Apart from that, let's look it up one more time. I'm going to need 14 tier 2 assemblers for that process. So I'll have these goods rolling into that direction, but only for so long. I'm going to make it like that. That's a little bit too narrow. So again, trying to do the logistics before to do the production before I do the logistics. Silly old me. Keep doing the same mistake. Alright, so let's... Am I able to do this? I think yes. So that's 5, 10, well, 12 and 14. So there we go. That won't work with the electric poles, but I don't mind. So first off, I'm going to finish the engine production before I proceed here. Oh well, might as well do like this. That works out too. Okay, now then. I'll bring up the engine recipe, and I'm pretty sure inserter-wise, this is a joke, exactly. So we're going to be able to satisfy that whole machinery very, very easily. But there's one technology I want to get to next, and that's robotics in general. And that's most importantly construction robots. So where is it at? Construction robotics. So let's follow that path. Advanced oil processing is the next step down that road. We're going to research it because it's it's necessary, and it's one of the most complicated parts of the vanilla game. That's mainly because advanced oil processing lets you process raw oil into 3 different substances at once. And while that sounds great at the first glance, it turns out to become a managerial nightmare in no time. So I'm going to explain that along the road, but for now it's enough to say we're going to research that, and that's all we need for now, because I want to get down the road to the construction robots. And to get construction robots, we're going to research lubricant. Lubricant is a product made out of oil. So that's another thing we're going to need later. Right now, what we're researching is the road to the electric engine. The electric engine is a vital part in the construction of robotics in general. So we're going to have to build a little bit more in that department. So plugging them in, having some fun. Oh, power pole network looks like a mess, but I don't care. Most important thing is now I do have access to engines in a larger scale, and that's all that matters to me right now. So let's put up a splitter to make it look more neat. That doesn't do anything except for make it look more nicely and increase the amount of storage, the maximum amount of storage capacity on that belt, but nothing more. If you really want to balance things, you have to do it a little bit differently, but that's another day's topic. So substations are also something I'd really love to put up, but advanced circuits are something I'm not going to do yet. There's also now available the blue circuit board, the processing unit, but we're far away from going there. So the next discovery will be the electric engine unit. So we see here we're processing electronic circuits, lubricants, and engine units into a new sort of engine. And that's the next technology I want to have. And it's going so nice and quick here to discover these technologies. I really like it to have these technologies more or less just on demand. And just notice that things aren't working out as intended. So this is a typical design flaw which we have to iron out in between. These things happen. They're quite normal to happen. Okay, electric engines have been researched, and now the only thing I'm lacking for the robotics is the battery technology. So let's get there next. And I don't mind with the engines here too much, because that's really not a big deal. The next thing I want to amp up is my steel production. And to do that, I'm going to grab a few miners and head over to that mining patch. I also need some new transport belts. That's quite obvious as well. And this is going to be one of the last stone furnace smelter assemblies I'm going to produce. There goes the battery technology. So now we have everything we need for robots. Batteries are made out of iron, copper, and sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a product I'm not running as of yet, but we're going to get there later down the road. Electronic energy accumulators, I'm not needing those now. What I did need, so where's the robotics technology? Anyways, let's increase our mining productivity next. So I was just researching these things, but I knew and I know that we're so far away from actually building robots that I just wanted to show you the necessary technologies there. and in a few episodes, we're going to build a few robots. I'm rushing as hard as I can towards the robots because they're going to be such a big upgrade for our productivity in general. So my stone bricks are really flowing miserably. It's because this situation here is not balanced at all. And how's my stone patch? Well, still 41k. Not bad. Alright, so we're going to plug in a few more miners and increase the steel production, because right now I have only one smelter array for my steel production, and that's just not sufficient for my taste. So let's do some more steel. I'm going to let it run here. I don't mind putting down too many miners, because too many miners, a high density of miners, basically, only means that you're depleting the patch quicker. That's all it means, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So how many miners did we plug in here? 31. So that's more than enough to supply one belt with iron. So I'd say, well, we can do this actually. So this is going to be the last of these arrays, because after that I want to upgrade to steel furnaces. But when I do that, I'm also going to install my ore hub facility. So we're going to do a bigger process with that upgrade. Very, very fun thing. Very rewarding feeling in the end when your production just got better. So let's look for the construction robotics. So what's in my way here? I'm now researching robotics. The research of robotics opens up the flying robot frame, which is the basis for many robots to come. And you see here we're needing steel plates, batteries, electronic circuits, and electric engine units. Many of these items we don't have access to yet. So here I'm going to be a little bit more thoroughly with my endeavors of balancing. So we're going to bring it up like that, because I really want to make sure that this is quite neatly packed. Alright, so here we go once more. I'm going to copy this array right away, and we're going to paste it down here. Boom. So it would be so lovely to have a swarm of robots at this point already to do our bidding, but sadly I'm not there yet. So there's another thing we have to do. There goes, because we're now using another strain of coal somewhere else. Let's pipe it like that. And I will do something like that. Alright, so more of that coal strain here. I'll prepare it this time to make sure we have a chance to actually continue it down the road if the need arises. Okay, robotics finished, and now we can research the construction robotics. This opens up the roboports and the construction robot. The construction robot automatically builds and repairs friendly entities, and that's just all it does. We just research it for now. Sadly, I can't bring it up yet, but we're going to get there. So we're going to... Whoa, that's a little bit too low down the road, I think. I want to... Ah, no, I see. That was my mistake. So that one will go down here, and that one will be up there. So let's just let them meet right here. And these two can just meet right there. Or is that a little bit too narrow? Yeah, I think it is. So let's do it like that. Alright, so with the whole topic with the construction robotics sounds pretty theoretic at this point, I'm afraid, but it is not that a complicated topic after all. Just the amount of necessary materials there is a real pain to deal with. Alright, so let's see. What's necessary next? I'll need one pure cold strain 2. So let's make it like that. It's looking messy, but I don't mind. So I'm going to run the no, I'm not. No. I'm going to make it like that. The output will be a little bit sloppy, but I don't mind here. So, oh, I might be not having enough furnaces, don't I? 96. Dang. So let's pick up some stones from the buffer down up there. So next up, I'm going to start increasing my lab research speed again, because I feel like that's also a very valuable topic to work with. So there it goes. And since I have already such large stockpiles here, I'm going to do one thing for a while. So there you go. Now let's just craft a ton of furnaces out of that. So this is not exactly a wise thing to do, and I have to correct that in the coming time beforehand, but I know that this belt here is basically... there's more on it than I'm possibly going to need in the long run. So I don't mind if this is happening like this. The most stones will be getting used for the bricks, and thus I don't mind sharing it like that. So the next plans now are I'm going to increase my steel output with this facility. And then we're going to start to prepare for the next big upgrades, because I'm having a large need for big amounts of steel now. And this is what I'm building now is not even close to satisfying my needs. I mean, I think one of those arrays was 3 steel per second, if I remember correctly. Not entirely sure about that anymore. So we got the lab research speed up, and you see here these technologies repeat and repeat, but they are worth the money. So I'm going to continue now with the stack inserter technology, because that opens up other really nice things that are going to help a lot. And next up will be this. So this time I'm going to try and fire up 1/2 of the array first, I thought, but no, let's just ignore that. It's not really important. Alright, so these constructions are just titanic. So we're going to make them a little bit smaller in the future. Here's the next technology that I wanted to have. Inserter capacity bonus. So this only increases the stack inserter capacity for now. Stack inserters are the last inserters we haven't met yet. They are moving complete stacks at once, which are really powerful if you want to move large amounts of products from chests between chests. These are mainly used when loading trains or unloading trains later down the road. We're going to use those more and more. But for maybe I'm going to use some of those for the ore hub too. Might be happening. I haven't wrapped my head around how to design that ore hub yet, There are so many ways to do that. I'm really looking forward to that topic. So the next technology, though, is the really interesting one. Here we increase the non-stack inserter capacity by another point. That makes every one of our yellow inserters and red inserters a little bit stronger. And that's just what we were waiting for all the time, basically. Because this does reduce the necessary amount of inserters for many machines by a ton, because we're going to be able to cut the amount of inserters basically in half, and that's big. It's a very big technology. I held that back for quite some time. Usually I do more research right off the bat, but for this playthrough I'm trying to do as little things as possible without explaining them, because, well, where's the fun of a vanilla playthrough if I don't explain way too much? So that's that. I'm going to leave this technology like this. Of course, I can go further down the road. There's more stack inserter capacity in there. And if we look at the other technologies, 5, 6, it's only the 7th and last tier increasing the non-stack inserter capacity one more time. So that's really not too interesting to go further like that. So we're going to research the steel furnaces next, which are made out of steel plates and stone bricks. And that's also a reason why I didn't build this array out of steel furnaces, because my intake of stone, as you might have noticed, is still pretty bad, so we're rather not aiming for that. I'll just upgrade all the existing arrays afterwards with steel, and then we should be having a nice output overall. I don't think it's going to be sufficient until the end of the game, but let's see how far we get with that. So basically we're going to have these here upgraded to steel ones, and I think I'm going to double this one more time and upgrade it to steel as well. All right, but that's future topics. So let's mount all these inserters. So there's going to be one more array we have to build by hand, and that's the copper one. But then, my friends, then we are free. Then we are finally free of that nasty job. Building smelter arrays is one of the most tedious jobs in this game, and I think it's one of those reasons why people started to design those early game robot mods, because at some point you just start to feel miserable with that. Oops, that was not what I wanted. So the last 2 inserters I'm going to handcraft. Not gonna walk back home just for 2 inserters. So now we're going to install the necessary power poles, and then we're good to go. Oh, that's so fun to see those arrays awaken to life. I love that. It's always so nice to see how these things turn to life. Just realized that I should be doing the top side and then the lower side. Okay, so I've run out of small electric poles, so let's use the medium ones instead, because they're more powerful anyways. So there we go. Just hope that I have enough of them, but I think that works out. So far, so good. Advanced material processing unlocks the steel furnaces, but not only those. We also unlock advanced material processing, which is giving us a new sort of smelters, but more of that later. It also unlocks concrete, which is one of the key technologies for nuclear power. Funny topic, we're going to get that through that later too. And most important stuff for the future is the low density structure. That's the mesh we construct our late game items out of. We do make rocket control units out of that. We use it for the rocket silo technology, and I think, yeah, low density structures are in a lot of high-tech items. If I remember correctly, yeah, you even need them for the science packs. So this is a very, very important and vital technology, which provides you with one of the most complicated vanilla intermediate products. But sadly, you won't be cutting it without these items. Low density structures are necessary, and they end up in real large and fun factories. All right, so let's pipe the steel somewhere else. And that's this topic. And next up is the copper, and then we have to deal with the stones. All right. So this just does the job quite nicely. I'll have one of those thingies here because I want to, because I can. All right, there we go. Not really necessary, but it gives me the feeling that we're really filling this thing from both sides. That's not really important right now because I'm only producing this amount of steel, but later on, if we amp up our production, this might get important, but not really. Not in this particular scenario. Sometimes I also like to build these things even though they don't make any sense. As a practice, you know? To see and to practice the mastery of belts. That sounds a little bit weird to begin with, but it really does help you in, well, constructing things a little bit more fluently. So we're going to build one more of those arrays too, because I feel like it's about time. Oopsie daisy, that was wrong. The thing here is we're consuming, let's check, yeah, I can amp that up. Although this is already not getting the full materials it needs anymore. So if I double that thing here, it needs 9 copper plates per second on this thing here. Since this beautiful belt here is only 15 units per second, which I split in half at this point, there's only 7.5 units of copper plate flowing into this direction, so there's no chance that we're going to satisfy that thing thoroughly. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. We don't need full efficiency yet. So let's see. We're going to research flammables next. Flammables are also a tiny but very important step towards future technologies for you. That's because flammables are the necessary step to rocket fuel, which is one of those key technologies to end the game with. And you notice I'm talking more and more about ending the game and getting towards the end game and such things. That's because we're knee deep in the mid game of the vanilla gameplay right now. With the 4 technology colors available, we're having a lot of different options to work with, and that's also a reason why I want to amp up my green circuit production, because I feel like that's certainly one of the major points to achieve. So there we go. And it's a wonderful example now. Basic inserters, we can now use basic inserters for the input of these machines. I don't need the blue ones anymore, but I don't have any basic ones right now. Oopsie. So, flammables finished. Let's go for the modular armor. That's also a very fun piece of gear, and that will ring in the end of today's technological X-course. I really enjoyed this little trip down the technology road, because usually in my episodes I try to research only sparingly, but I felt like I wanted to go for one episode where we do a lot of these things. So modular armor gives you only a stronger armor, but it is the first armor with a equipment grid. So the first armor where you can equip new things on it. So we do want to go for power armor too, but I'm not there yet. So logistic robots are also a wonderful topic, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Modules, I don't want to have that either yet. Combat robotics, yeah. Advanced material processing too. Opens up the road for another science color, but that's not that important. But more important is the electric furnace. The electric furnace is, well, the only furnace not needing a external input of fuel, except for electricity is also a sort of fuel for this machine. That means you're having access to furnaces which need a belt supply less, or a side of a belt less. I have split feelings towards these. I've also read articles about electric smelters being actually less energy efficient than the steel smelters. But at the same time, you can't forget they are a lot more space efficient or room efficient compared to their other cousins. Oh, dang. Forgot to bring a few power poles. But I wanted to end today's episode anyways quite soon. Like I said, lots of this and that's because that's just what we had to do today. I'm going to add a few things in between. I'm not sure where I'm going to head in the next episode. I think next episode we have definitely the necessity to pick up those stones and start building the ore hub. I think that's some next topic I'm going to rush into. Let's increase our weapon efficiency in the meantime. That's always a good thing to research. If you don't know what to research, research gun technologies. Never a bad thing, because the biters will only grow stronger. Yeah, so leave me a comment down below if you have anything on your mind, if there are any topics you want to have covered more thoroughly. As you know, I love to hear from you. And leave a like on that video if you want to support the series. Leave a subscription on the channel if you want to support the community growing and get those notifications when new videos show up. Whatever you do or don't, I hope you have a wonderful time, and until then, goodbye.